Hi everybody, Kevin here. Welcome to the Claremont Classic Garage. Today we're going to make a couple of trolleys for some pieces of equipment. What I want to do is make a little trolley that I can sit this blade on when it's not on the tractor, so I can roll it around in the garage. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to make a trolley for the snowblower. Now I've got one here. It's made out of wood that I just kind of cobbled together. But I've got a bunch of angle iron, so I think I'd probably rather make one out of steel. So in the theme of using what we've got, we're going to use these two pieces of angle iron to make a piece of channel. This is just going to be a simple T-shaped trolley. So we'll put a swivel caster at each end of this, and we'll just put a little leg out the back with a third caster on it, and we can drop the blade on it, and it can roll around the shop. It won't be outside rolling around in the gravel or nothing. It'll just be rolling around in here in the concrete. So that'll be super. So let's get welding. Okay, so we got our channel made. I should tell you what we're using to do this. It's an old Lincoln Weld Pack 100. This is a 120 volt unit. My old one, this is a MIG Pack 15. This is a 220 volt. This is one, I bought this new a long time ago, and when my father-in-law downsized, he gave me this one. So, right now, this one's running on 30 thou flux core, and this one's running on 35 thou flux core. What I'm going to do, I just haven't had a chance to do it. I'm going to put this one on the bottle. I've got the regulator and everything for it. So we'll convert this one over to run solid core wire with the inert gas. And we'll keep this one running the flux core. The flux core does have its advantages in certain situations. I found it's not as picky with rust and grease and oil and paint. It'll kind of burn through it. You can't always get everything perfectly clean. But for working on nice, new, clean stuff, you can't beat using the gas. Anyway, that's what we have done. Now I've got another piece of angle iron. I'm going to cut it in half and make another piece of channel, and we'll make our T here. Then we can put the wheels on. This is nice, crusty old angle iron. I don't know where the heck I got it, but I'm so happy it's getting used for something. And besides, the Tremclad likes a little rust to stick to. We made short work of that with our chop saw. It's a 14-inch abrasive disc one. I think it's Mastercraft from Canadian Tire. Other piece made. Now we'll join them together. That's looking pretty good. Now we're going to go ahead and put the wheels on. Got to drill a few holes. Wheels are on. These two I drilled a hole and bolted them in because they mount with a stem stud or whatever you want to call it. This one was just an old-fashioned swivel caster, so I got lazy and just tacked it on with the welder. It should be A-okay. Now we're going to put it under the blade and see what happens. Perfect, I'd say. So we'll lift the blade back up, pull that thing up from there. I'm going to wire brush it up a little bit, and we'll get a coat of Tremclad primer on it, then we'll paint it. Give it a stir, it'll be good like new. Now we just gotta let this primer dry, and then we'll pick a nice snazzy color for it. We'll see what we've got in stock. Mostly is how we'll determine what color to do it. We've got, what do we got here? Gray primer, well that's what I just put on. I've got Oxford Blue and Zesty Orange, which are mostly for the big blue beasts. I'll look in my cupboard and see what I've got. Black or gray or something. It'll look nice when we're done. Anyway, now I'm going to go in, NASCAR races coming on. They're in Homestead. Always fun there. It's an old abrasive track, and it gives the drivers and crew chiefs fits trying to figure it out. When I come back out, we're going to start working on the trolley for the snowblower, and we'll see how that goes. We're going to go with the old Tremclad Battleship Gray. Can't go wrong with that. It's kind of close to the Battleship Gray that the chassis of the Kubota is, so it'll match up nicely. It's a little gooey because it's a pretty old can of paint, but for what we're doing, it'll be fine. That's pretty good. We'll let the paint dry and then we'll be able to take the blade off the tractor and put it over there against the wall. And my mucky paint there, well, hey, it did the job. I think the next time I use it, I'm going to dump some acetone in it to kind of get it thinned back out a little bit. But it did okay for what it is. The paint dried nicely overnight, so we're going to roll this thing under here. Center it up. We'll lower the blade and see how easy it is to get it off. So far so good. I'm going to unhook the hoses and pull a couple of pins and we'll roll her off. That worked perfectly. I'm going to go park that against the wall there. Over the summer, or well, sometime before next snow season, I'm going to clean this blade up and give it a coat of paint. We're going to take it all apart, make sure everything's free and lubricated. I bought this used. I've never really done a heck of a lot to it. It seems to work fine, but I have noticed a couple of little issues with it. So that'll get fixed up before next snow season. So now we're going to roll this out of the way and we're going to put the snowblower back on. And then we'll build a trolley for the snowblower. Blower's back on. Now we'll turn it around so it's ready to go in case it snows. And we'll start working on our little snowblower trolley. Now we'll start making the trolley for the snowblower. Something I have to keep into consideration when I do it is looking across here. I want the snowblower to actually sit a little lower than it's raised up as high as it'll go now. So I want it to be sitting a lot lower than that when it's on the trolley because as you can see, the hitch is not level. So I'm going to lower that down till it's level and see how much room we've got because when that hitch is level, it just makes it a heck of a lot easier to slide the blower on and off of it. It's not quite as easy to manhandle as that little blade. That's a lot better. So that's what we've got to play with. It's pretty nice out today, so I shut the heat off and opened the door. We'll see how it is. If it gets too cool, I'll put the door down and put the heat back on. First thing we're going to do is tack two of these wheels to this. This will be our rear cross member, but looks like somebody cut this with a knife or something. So we're going to go to the chop saw and square up the ends of it so it looks a little better. And we'll get our wheels welded on. It was getting pretty cool in here. The sun went in for a few minutes and it started getting kind of frosty. So while I put the door down and put the heat back on, I chickened out. Anyway, so we got this rear bar made, got the wheels tacked on. Now we have to extend a couple of legs forward so we can put another pair of wheels out the front of it. This piece of angle iron down here, it's not too easy to see. There we go. That's going to be the front of our little trough, I guess you can call it, this thing's going to sit in. So what I've done, I've positioned it so I've left a little clearance here, about 1/4 or 3/8 of an inch, so that, you know, we've got a little wiggle room for getting it engaged. So now what we got to do is, I've cut these two straps here, and we'll weld these in to connect to our rear cross member here. I think I have to put a little bit of a bend in one end because they're not exactly on the same plane, but that shouldn't be too much trouble. Those are all made now. I just had to barely put a little tweak in them to make up for the difference in the angle. I'll go ahead and tack everything together now, and then we'll see about positioning the other pair of wheels. I've got it all tacked together. Now I've lowered it down till it's sitting on the back wheels, and what we're going to do now is get the front wheels attached because it's sitting at the right height. So we can see here that our height is pretty good, so I can just tack the wheels onto the bottom of this and it'll be perfect. That worked out pretty well, didn't it? On the bottom side, I gotta put these wheels on. I don't really want to put them on top of that strap because it'll make it too tall. I could put them in here, I guess. That'll bring them in a little closer to center and may make the thing a little bit wobbly. So another option I have would be to put another piece of angle iron on the face of this, and I could put these wheels out here. I could put them pretty near anywhere I want to. So I'm going to have a look at what we've got in stock and we'll make a decision. That'll do it. There's always some random pieces of angle iron laying around here somewhere. Alright. So I'll let that sit overnight, and then tomorrow we'll hit it with the color. Tomorrow's Thursday, so then it'll have to dry. So then Friday, it'll be good to go. And we can put it under there and try to take the snowblower off and put it back on. Should be fun. That looks nice with a coat of paint on it. I was right about one thing. I dumped a little acetone in this old can of paint and it came right back to life. It's as good as new. There. So we got half a can of gray paint we can use on something else. So hopefully this will dry soon and we can try it out. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to roll it under and we'll drop the snowblower onto it and see how easy it is to put it on and off. Sits on there quite nicely. I'll go ahead now and unhook the few hoses and the drive shaft and we'll pull it off. It came right off. It was beautiful. So now I'm going to go ahead and see how it goes back on. Here we go. Let's see how it goes. Well, that went pretty well, I have to say. Let me hook up the hoses and then we'll lift it up. There's one. And the wire for the deflector. Now I'll start the engine up and lift the blower up. Perfect. I couldn't be more happy. So I guess that's a wrap on that project. We've got 2 trolleys now to roll our plow and snowblower around. Makes it a lot easier to move them around in the congested shop here in the wintertime. Time to find something else to do, so I'm going to take off. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for stopping by. Please take a moment, go down below and subscribe to our channel and all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. This is Kevin checking out from the Claremont Classic Garage. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.